I swear I almost drowned. Oh, all is well in my soul, all is well. I will know all is well.
Yes, Sir Hairless here. Today we're back with AVI KAPLAN. It's been a while since we've done a reaction to him. This song here, this was the winner of our recent members poll for which AVI reaction to do next. It's a song called All Is Well and it's featuring Joy Williams. I don't know Joy Williams' music, I've just never been exposed to it, but she's won 4 Grammys and has 5 solo albums. She was part of the Civil Wars, a musical group, of course, not actually any civil wars, I think. This video came out in February of 2022 and in the description it says it was written by both Avi and Joy. Here are the lyrics on the screen now. By these lyrics it seems like a great song for someone going through some tough times, letting them know that whatever path you might find yourself on, life goes on and everything will be okay. I'd expect the music therefore to be quite calm overall, probably a bit less tribalistic than for example in Change on the Rise. I think that word was used quite a bit in the comments. Maybe something more aligned with Healing by Avi. All of my previous Avi reactions can be found in the Avi playlist up here. So that's where we're at. I think let's get straight into it and find out.
I dove into the dark, and I swear I almost drowned. But I could see the stars looking up as I was sinking down. All is well, all is well. Heaven, hell, wherever I go, all is well in my soul, all is well.
Nice.
I've landed in the light. My eyes could finally see the darkness in my mind was the path to set my spirit free. All is well.
Yeah, it's really nice song. It looks like they're repeating the chorus now, so I want to do a pause here and talk about what we've heard so far in this. It's really reminding me of a couple of other songs as well, but maybe I'll touch on that later. Alright, well, yeah, very, very nice. If you don't want to hear my analysis, go to the timestamp. I guess let's go back to the start. The first thing that really stood out to me was the bass line of the guitar. It's kind of in 2 parts. So the first part is, and then the second part to it boom, boom, boom. The rhythmic core. We've had no beat, we've had no percussion of any kind, all the way up to where I paused, which was probably about halfway through. So the bass on the beats, like we're hearing, boom, boom, that's the real rhythmic stability at the bottom of everything. And as usual with the bass part, it's also the harmonic foundation. You could also kind of think of that repeated bass part instead of like, and then when it repeated. Oh, that's really testing my mouse abilities there, clicking that accurately. And one of the prominent features is the steel guitar sounding riff or motif that we're hearing. Quite faintly but high up in the background, almost in this context, kind of like a siren. That's what my mind is thinking of anyway, I don't know why. It immediately shows us that this is not an uptight piece of music. I guess we guessed that based on the lyrics beforehand. It's just very relaxed, very chilled, free flowing, and that sound, that steel guitar type sound, it always relaxes me when it's used in songs. That's a bit of a harsher sound, a bit more piercing, but that's the song that came to mind. I feel with Avi here, it's a very authentic sound. I love the accent, especially on Dark in the first line.
I dove into the dark.
Also the note on Dark there, he goes above,
The dark.
slightly above, which shows the sound is authentic. And there's this kind of natural brightness to it as well. It's been a while since I've done an Avi song, and yeah.
Looking up as I was sinking down.
I love his tone, his timbre. His rapid vibrato, it really suits the richness of his sound. It's just really soothing, I think. So in comes Joy. She enters with some harmony.
All is well.
Of course, we have more than just two vocal lines. And if we put them into a chord, we really get an outline of this A chord. Their phrase ends, and then we hear the steel guitar. It might not be a steel guitar, but I'm going to call it that for the sake of ease in this video. So yeah, there it is. And its part there, these two notes, A to G sharp. It's because in the chorus we just have two repeated chords. They are A and C sharp minor. And if we simplify it into 3-note chords, the only note that changes is this A to G sharp. And that's what we hear in the steel guitar. In fact, the whole song so far up until this point, we've only heard 3 chords. C sharp minor, A, and E. E, you'll notice, didn't move, so the note E is in all 3 of these chords. It's very, very simple to change between these 3 chords. You don't really need to move that many notes. Let's just quickly cycle through them again. So those 3 chords in that order is what we get in the introduction, repeated, and then in the verses. For the chorus, the order is slightly different. It's, as we saw earlier, those 2 chords repeated. The A chord now comes first instead of second like it does in the verse, so their order has changed. There's no E chord at all.
All is well. Heaven and hell, wherever I go, all is well.
But then the E chord does come in this line, and then we get a new chord.
All is well in my.
And that's this chord here. It's the chord of F sharp minor. Well, why this chord? Why is this the new chord? The chords on either side are the chord of E. If we slide all of these notes down, so again, an easy chord change. And also, here's our chord, but it's similar to C sharp minor, which we then get. So this new chord comes in very similar to the chords either side. Don't need to change much to introduce the new chord in terms of notes. It's a tiny bit of variety, a nice bit of harmonic change, but it's also preparing us. It has quite an important structural role because for the next verse, it sends us back to the E chord for the next verse.
All is well.
Which we have here, E. And now for the verse, we've gone back to the C sharp minor. Again, you'll see between those 2 chords, just 1 note difference. Here's the circle of fifths. On the outside are the major keys, on the inside are the minor keys. Every major key has a related minor key. And in this case, C sharp minor is the relative minor of E. So a very easy change between them, as we've seen.
Light.
I do love his guitar. It's very cool, isn't it? I'm getting a Renaissance feel just in terms of aesthetic and shape. It's quite similar to a lute. Alright, so we've spoken about the harmony itself, the chords they use. Long story short, there aren't that many chords used, and the ones that are used are very easy to change between them. They relate to each other quite well. As for the harmonies, the vocals,
All is well.
they are really nice. They are. I mean, I'm not surprised. I don't know why I maybe sounded surprised there. They're really nice. We have homophony. They're all singing the same words at the same time in the same rhythms. So the individual parts that we have are less obvious. They're a bit more difficult to pick out. Some are much more hushed than others. Avi's melody is the most obvious part, the loudest part, it seems.
All is well.
In a fairly high chest voice for him. Very, very lovely tone. Joy's part towards the end of the chorus was quite low.
Wherever I go, all is well in my soul.
So it's a different feel. Lower down will usually be less powerful, which I think is what we want for a song like this.
All is well.
Really nice, straightforward harmonically, whilst also having these luscious harmonies. There's nothing too intricate or dissonant. Again, the word soothing comes to mind. There's quite a lot of air as well in both of their voices, in the harmonies, and the harmonies aren't overdone or overused either. Verse 2 is back to just Avi singing solo.
My eyes could finally see the darkness in my mind.
But then Joy joins in for the second half. And I love the video too. It's simple, modest, outside, but weirdly, I don't know, kind of homely. Maybe more this scenery actually. But I just want to jump in and join them. I mentioned before that this song reminds me of another song. Well, a couple of songs. I can't remember the name right now, but I'll include one of them in the description below if I can remember. So for anyone who's interested and you like this song, you'll probably like this other song. And it'll be interesting to see if you think they're similar as well. All right, let's carry on till the end.
All is well, all is well. Heaven, hell, wherever I go, all is well in my soul, all is well.
It's the smoke, it's the flame, it's the ash and it's the rain, it's the burn you wash away, it's the change and it's the same. All is well.
Heaven, hell, wherever I go, all is well. Time will tell and I will know, all is well. My soul, all is well. Heaven, hell, wherever I go, all is well in my soul, all is well.
Really nice song. I've not heard that much of Avi's own music. I believe this is the 5th of his own songs that I'm hearing, reacting to. But he definitely has a style. Again, the word spiritual kind of comes to mind. I think this is a really nice song. Let's go over just a handful of points from the second half of that one. So we get a repeated chorus from where we carried on.
All is well, all is well.
It's just nice. It's just nice. It does really make you believe that all is well. Even if it isn't and you're going through some tough times, listening to this, I imagine it is an escape for a lot of people. For me, anyway, music definitely has the power to be an escape from reality, even if just temporarily. After the chorus, we then get what I guess would be the bridge, and it's Joy's solo, and the chord structure, it's been rejigged, reworked a little bit.
It's the smoke, it's the flame, it's the ash and it's the rain.
So we've had a new chord introduced, so this is chord number 4, and that is the chord of B. So this is what we've gone, and again, look how the chords are just kind of sliding down. In Joy's little solo, there was this bit.
It's the smoke, it's the
On Smoke, I really like the idea how, even though she's singing not particularly high for her, she's harmonizing with the steel guitar sound that is much higher up. A really nice way to connect the lower human voice with the kind of, I don't want to say peculiar sounding, but it's definitely an interesting sound of that steel guitar type sound. I also didn't mention earlier, but there's a piano part as well. We heard it in the first half and it comes in again here.
It's the ash and it's the rain.
It definitely adds another layer of something. I feel like I've said this in a number of my recent videos actually, but the piano is an instrument that's considered both a string instrument and a percussion instrument. So in the absence of a beat of strict percussion, it adds a sort of percussive element on top of the guitar plucking, which is the other main source of any sort of beat or rhythmic strictness or drive.
It's the rain.
And she goes low there, that's pretty low. Another interesting bit, again with Joy. Her voice is very swoony or swell-y. There's less focus on direct pronunciation of the word. And to kind of emphasize that, the freedom, notice how the other rhythmic elements in the music have been removed here. We pretty much just have this chordal humming, taking the harmonic center stage underneath. And because of this, what happens afterwards is...
Heaven, hell, wherever I go, all is well.
It gives it this kind of rhythmic rejuvenation when we enter back into the chorus. Now, it's mid-chorus actually. That's not that standard. The first bit of the chorus is changed fairly significantly, and then it goes back to normal for the second half of the chorus. And we now hear what I think kind of sounds like a bass drum.
Oh, all is well. Time will tell and I will know.
It's about as subtle as a percussive beat we can get, but it is a beat nonetheless. And then finally, for the final outro, would you call it, we go back to a reduced texture.
Is well in my soul, all is well.
Fewer notes played, simpler rhythms, homophony, and you can really hear the various AVIs.
All is well in my soul.
Especially the lower, the deeper ones, much clearer. And for me, knowing AVI as the basso profundo of pentatonics, this brings with it a certain sense of familiarity. Well, there we go. All is well, AVI KAPLAN feat. Joy Williams. I really, really enjoyed that. Very, very nice, very peaceful, kind of like we expected from the lyrics, seeing them beforehand. This is another one of those songs where the word nice, even though it's not the most descriptive or exotic word, I just think it suits it really well. It's a nice song. And in the poll, which this one, a lot of the comments said, yeah, it's a nice one. And that's why people voted for it. I can understand why. Well, let's leave that one there. Thank you to everyone who voted, and thank you as always to everyone for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, want to support me, get access to exclusive perks, you can do so by joining the Patreon linked on the screen now, and I will see you next time.